Hey guys, here's a video on my AYN Thor accessories. So this device here is awesome for multitasking. And what I have on the front is the TPU shell from AYN, which is awesome. It adds a lot of grip. It does get a little bit slick, but it makes the corners a lot more rounded and more ergonomic. And this little thing here is just a little holder for the stylus. This stylus is awesome. Because I have the top and bottom official glass screen protectors, and this one is very, very responsive. I think it's ASC is the brand, and it's very responsive with when you're actually clicking on the windows. It's kind of hard because I'm using a screen and filming at the same time, but it's very, very responsive. Like, you only have to tap it very, very softly. It's an active stylus. Highly recommend this from Amazon. But yeah, the TPU case is really nice because it makes it nice and curved, and so it doesn't jut into your palms too much. And what I also have is just a little lanyard here. This is from a Ergonomic device, which I just took it from the case. The official AYN is the lanyard it's way too thick. It has a metal ring which could scratch. One accessory I really like are the 3D printed triggers from AliExpress. So these triggers are very minimalistic, where they don't add much bulk or depth to the device, but really help with where your finger touches. So they just snap on. Let's see if I can remove it here. Yeah, so it's just this little piece of plastic, and you snap it on to the trigger. And this is the stock trigger. When you're using the device, I have smaller hands. Only the front part of your finger is touching it, and it's this kind of sharp plastic, this weird angle. I don't know why they designed it like this. And it's just the top part. So when you're doing racing games, it's very awkward, and you don't have much leverage, and it's also sharp. Now compared to here, you see how like it's more of like where the first bend of my finger is now, instead of just like right here at the tip. So now you have more leverage, and it's easier to pull down, and you don't have that weird awkward sharp lip, and they just clip right on. And as you can see, it's not a big difference in terms of depth. It's just really rounded here. I don't know why they rounded it off so much. Some people said they become a little loose, so you could use some double-sided tape in here. But when you're just putting it on, you just start with one side, and then you just rotate it, and it clips on. And it's quite secure, but I may add some double-sided tape just in case. Yeah, it doesn't add much depth at all, but it makes it a lot more ergonomic. So this is $11 on AliExpress. Do not buy them from Etsy. Etsy is charging like $25 Canadian or $20 Canadian plus another $20 for shipping. So that's like $40 for a piece of plastic. Just buy them from AliExpress. It's a lot cheaper. Like 11 bucks is still kind of pricey for plastic, but I'd rather pay that than $40. Some people say just get your 3D printing shop to print them. Well, I can't find any locally, and they charge a lot more. Unless you have a 3D printer, which not many people have. Yeah, so this is the awesome stylus, I would say. And what I also have is this case, which is awesome. So this case here is the smallest case I could find for the Thor itself. Like, it's not much bigger than the actual device. When I first got this from AliExpress, it was $10. If you look 6-inch GPS case, it will show up. I just added the Triforce logo on top. But this just fits the device, like nothing else pretty much. So it's kind of like, you see it's indented on the top and on the bottom, and this is kind of like a hard shell, like a pleather. You see it adds extra space so that the device actually fits. Because when it arrived, I didn't think it would fit. So this is with the extra extended trigger grips from AliExpress. These were $10, by the way. It's much better than buying them on Etsy for like $40 for a piece of plastic. And I just put the lanyard up this way. And you see, like, it's not very tall, right? It looks like it won't even fit. But when you close it, it actually does. And it's not tight. It's just right. If you push it hard enough, you could hear the joysticks click in from the screen. Even now you can't really hear it, but it's just the right thickness. It's not very thick at all. Like, I have a measuring tape here. It's maybe, you know, an inch and a half or so, not even. And it's, you know, it's a nice pleather hard shell, and it doesn't add much weight or much depth at all. So it just fits. If you want the smallest case you can find, this is it. You can find it on Amazon, which is like $29, but if you go on AliExpress, search 6-inch GPS case, it fits perfectly. I've been looking forever to find a case just like this, just a small case. And what I also have here too is this little 3DS sleeve from AliExpress. You can buy this on Amazon as well. It's super ugly and super cheap feeling, but it's just the right size. The reason I have it like this is because I turn it inside out. So it says like new Nintendo 3DS SLL, and it fits it perfectly in terms of size. Let's see here. I'm just gonna put it, insert it off camera because it's hard to film and do the same time. The trigger grips do make it bulge a little bit more, as you can see here, but it fits just right. Like, there's no space and it's not too snug. It feels super cheap though, but it's nice to have something just in case if it slips out of your pocket and falls on the ground. So this is, again, 3DS XL or LL for Japan case, neoprene. You can find it on AliExpress for like $6. I wouldn't spend more than $10 for this because it's very cheap. The only downfall I find is it sheds some lint. So like this interior here kind of breaks apart, and if you have a white Max shell like mine, you see little bits that have come off and they kind of get in the little crevices. So I don't use this too much. Oh, and by the way, if you see my finger here, it doesn't extend all the way. That's because it was dislocated when I fell off my unicycle and it got snapped back in. So that's why my finger's crooked like that permanently, even after going to physio. And this is my other case that I have. So it's hard to find a perfect fit neoprene case. This is a little large, but this is the best I could find. This is from the brand KW Mobile, which is on Amazon. They have tons of neoprene cases. See, this here has like a little sleeve inside where you could put accessories like headphone cable or whatnot. So there is some extra space, maybe like, you know, ½ an inch all around. And then when you close it up, right, it's a little bit bulky, but it is more protected. Right. So yeah, this was like $15 on Amazon, so that's a pretty good case. One other accessory that I have is this from AliExpress. This is just a little keyboard. I think it's the RII brand. So you have like the trackpad and it's Bluetooth. There's also a remote control on the other side for if you have a TV. But this is awesome because it connects via Bluetooth, and sometimes if you want to type and not have the on-screen keyboard show up for some game hub games, this is perfect. Now over here, this is a little jerry-rigged stand I did. So this is a Steam Deck stand from Jsaux. And I added some rubber grommets right here. And just like this funny little piece of barbecue skewer. And just this little rubber on the back. Because when I charge it, the fan turns on. And I don't want it flat on the desk because the intake gets blocked. So this just raises up the device off the table. So there's more space because the fan usually ramps up when I'm charging or if I'm downloading. So at least you have that extra airflow. So this was like $15 on Amazon, and it's just a case for a Steam Deck, or a stand I should say. And what I should mention is I also added some little rubber grommets here. It's hard to see. These little rubber grommets keep the screen from just bashing right in the middle. So on this little support here, it kind of makes it so that there's more support, so it doesn't squish down as much, because it would squish down a lot, even with this case, the TPU cover. And so now I'll show some accessories which are not very good. So this stylus is horrible. It was recommended online because it's super compact, but it doesn't register on the bottom screen at all. I have the glass screen protector right on the top. If you really push it down, it does move, but it's not sensitive. But look at this. I'm really pushing on it quite hard, right? And if you have any rhythm games, it's not going to be a good accurate device. Stylus. I'm not crazy about this. This was like way too much on Amazon. It was like $20 or so, but it's not very good. You really got to shove it against the screen, and it drags too, so it's not good. I prefer the other stylus. So do not get this. It looks stylish and it has a holder for it, but it's not good. And some other devices which did not, or holders which did not fit, are also from KW Mobile. So this was for, I can't remember what it was called. Oh, it was for a new Nintendo 3DS XL. You see, it barely even fits. You can only like put the zipper part way. So this is not recommended. If you see any of those, the new Nintendo 3DS XL, it actually is not. It's for the older 3DS. So this doesn't fit. That's horrible. On Amazon, I also saw this, which was Worsley. This is for 3DS XL as well. I tried to put this case in, and it won't close. It's way too small. And when you add the trigger grips, it also makes it way too big, right? If you really pushed it down, which I did before I had the trigger grips, you could close it, but then you hear the lid creaking and you hear the joysticks clicking. So do not get this. This new Nintendo 3DS XL from Worsley is way too small. Yeah, way too small. Do not get that. This case here was for a Ambernick RG 40 XXV for the vertical one, because I was trying to find other ones which would fit, but as you can see, it's too wide. It's not wide enough and it won't fit. So this is a fail. Don't get this. I was trying to get a variety of different cases to see which was the smallest. This one here is actually not bad. This was $20 and it was for a 6-inch GPS, I believe, on Amazon. It has like little attachment, a little reinforcements. And you see here, it fits just right. Only thing, it shakes around because there's a gap. There's a gap all around here. So it's pretty good and it's nice and flat. Only thing, you may just need to add some foam and then it'll be okay. Here's another case which I saw from KW Mobile, just trying. It was just like a phone case. This is way too skinny, won't fit. So I went through quite a lot of these cases to find the ones which I like. Now going on to the main accessories, this this case here, this is the official AYN case without the grip. If you compare it to this other case, which was pretty good from Amazon, this one is actually slightly thicker, and it kind of, you see the angle? It kind of is thicker on one side. This is just flat. This is actually pretty nice. It's very high quality. Interior, there's not much gap around, and you have a little sleeve on the top. The only thing I don't like is the zipper has a string instead of the metal pull, so it doesn't pull as much. But it's, you know, it's not as flat as the other one, which I was showing you, but it's very high quality. The only thing, this is black color, and it seems to attract lint pretty easily. But this is a nice high quality case. I would recommend getting this if you just want a case from the official manufacturer. But I do prefer that small GPS case I was mentioning, because if you compare the size, right, it's a huge difference. It's like twice the depth with my other 6-inch GPS case versus the official AYN case. It's like twice the thickness, right? So yeah, I much prefer this. I could use this if I'm traveling and more protection, but this is what I use in my everyday carry. I use this in my coat pocket. So here is the AYN official grip, which I'm not crazy about. I added some extra grip tape because this whole back here is very, very slick. It's like frosted plastic. Around this side, there are grips underneath, like it's kind of ribbed texture, but it's also very hard plastic. I'm not crazy about this because when you put it on the device, it still sits quite low in your hand. So I have the TPU shell, and when you insert it, it's kind of hard to do on the screen here. Yeah, there we go. So now it's fully inserted. And when it's on the device, it makes it top heavy. You see how low this is on your hand? The screen is heavier up here, so it feels like the device wants to go like this. And I find since it's slippery, even with the grips, you really have to shove your hands together because you want to hold it up. You don't want it to fall this way or fall forward like on your face if you're lying on the couch. I wish the grips extended up to here, instead of just being like right in the palm of your hand, and then you have this flat texture on the back. So it's flat here and then curved here. It should just be curved all the way up and extend. I really don't like this one. Yeah, it's not very ergonomic for me. It will help with your D-pad and your lower joystick down here, but I just use the TPU shell itself, just because of just the awkwardness. Someone says it's kind of like having balls in your hand. Yeah, it is kind of like having testicles in your hand. I don't like it. Yeah, I usually like 3D grips too. And I'll show you the case. So the case is quite good. This is the grip case. The only thing is it's this texture that gathers lint and dust. It's kind of scalloped out here for the balls, and it's thinner in the middle. And right now it's a little bit tight because I have the extended triggers on there. This is actually the first time I've tried it with the triggers, but it does fit. So it's a little bit big on the sides here, and then it's scalloped in. It's a nice high quality case. Nice material, but it collects too much dust. I've only had this for a couple weeks, and I don't like how it's a cloth zipper pull or a string. It's not as easy to pull. But yeah, you can fit this with a grip, and then also have some accessories on top here. It's a pretty sturdy case. and it has it fits with these extended triggers. It does make it a little bit more snug, but you can see there is enough space. Yeah, so I don't use this grip too much. Maybe I haven't given it a fair shake, but I do prefer using just the TPU shell. Just refix this here. This is just a little nub I have, just so that the screen doesn't bash into it too much. But this shell itself is much more comfortable. It does feel a little bit greasy after you use it for a while, but it makes it very rounded all along here, so it fits perfectly in your hand, and I just hold it like this. So I highly recommend the TPU shell. I personally don't recommend the TPU case. I would recommend getting a third-party printed one online. Oh, and one more thing about this this AYN Thor grip is it doesn't seem like it's really made to put on top of the TPU case. You see how it kind of bulges out here? This is on top of the TPU shell. It's like they made the official grip so that you could fit it on without the TPU shell and also fit on top of the TPU shell. But it's like a weird middle ground where it's too loose if you don't have the TPU shell, and it's kind of too tight if you do have the TPU shell. And it causes the weird warping. Some people said it actually pulls away the TPU shell as well. So it does fit. The grip does fit on top of the TPU shell. It's just not, it's a little too tight, and it does cause that weird kind of bulging out. Yeah, so it seems like they just made it to fit both ways, but you know, it doesn't fit that well. When you look at the accessories, because I got the official accessory kit, this bag is useless. It's just like so flimsy and way too much space. Like, I don't understand this pouch. I would have preferred if they gave a neoprene pouch, just like that Nintendo 3DS. See, this is in the case right now, and there's so much extra room. I don't know what you're going to put in here. It's so flimsy. I don't like this. You can use it for something else. And this AYN lanyard, I also am not a fan because it's so bulky compared to this small one, which I have. I don't understand why you need it to be so long. And it has this metal ring. This could scratch or get jammed inside, and if you close it. So I really don't like this either. I just prefer an all-in-one. This is from my Ergonomic device I was mentioning earlier. I think that's everything. This device is awesome though. I may take this off. We'll see, because it's just the holder for the stylus, and I don't use the stylus that much. It's just nice to have, you know, because I would lose the stylus if I didn't have somewhere to put it. The only other downfall with this stylus is it powers off. The battery, it has like a sleep mode, so if you don't use it for a few seconds, it just turns off, so you gotta turn it on again. But in general, yeah, this AYN Thor is awesome. Like, I have a lot of previous handhelds, and this is something special because there's so many use cases for this. You know, you could be, you know, Nintendo 3DS is the main thing they would be using it for, right? But you could be downloading a game on the top and then watching a video on the bottom. You could be playing on top the game and then have the user guide on the bottom, a walkthrough for the game. Watching YouTube on the top and then gaming on the bottom. It's, you know, once you go to a dual screen handheld, you can't go back. This is the White Max Thor, so it has a 1 terabyte, which I highly recommend, because for games, PC games, you want to have as much storage as you can, and with the RAM prices due to AI eating up all the memory and causing shortages, it's a no-brainer to go with the 1 terabyte because you also have the 16 gigabits of RAM. So yeah, this works awesome for Nintendo Switch and also for PC gaming. So I'm able to run Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, and I recently just got Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 working at 60 frames per second in GameHub, which is awesome. It all depends on the RIP version that you get of the game. I'll create another video on how to get those working. But yeah, so I don't really use a front end other than ESD, which I launch manually on the top here. And then on the bottom, I'm using Jagamir, or I can't remember the name. It's some Swedish name for Thor's hammer or something. Because you have to use that Mjolnir or Mjolnir or whatever it is called to launch the bottom thing. It's a dual launcher, basically. I hate whoever created those names. It's so hard to say. But yeah, this highly recommend this device. It's not hype. It's truly a game changer having dual screens, being able to multitask. So that's why I don't really have a front end other than ESD, which I launch manually, because I like to have something on top while I'm doing something on the bottom. So, you have YouTube or Chrome, for example, you're in GameHub, a game doesn't work, then you have like MU Ready right on the bottom, just checking to see what the settings are while you're in GameHub. It's, instead of having your phone with you on the side or another TV, when I set up this device, I was setting it up on the top screen and then watching Retro Game Corps on the bottom with a guide of how to set up the device itself. So yeah, this is highly recommended. Had it for about a month. Tinkering is, half the fun. But yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry this video is too long. Too many accessories. But yeah, highly recommend these trigger extenders from AliExpress. So they were only like $12 including shipping. Much better than buying them from Etsy for $40 including shipping, which is ridiculous. And they clip on quite securely. They just slide on and clip. And they don't add much height at all. Thank you very much.